My name's Evan Newman. I'm the Senior Manager of Membership here at SIMA. I'm joined today by Vice President of Operations at East End Group, Mr. JP Sanieski. One thing we'll be chatting a little bit more about today is really snow operations. This is something that came about due to some internal conversations at SIMA. And then JP actually reached out to us. This has been almost, 6 months ago now, JP, and he said, why don't you guys start interviewing some operations professionals, some business professionals from throughout the industry to really kind of start to put the industry in spotlight and put the industry in view to where people can celebrate the industry and people can answer questions. That's what we want to build this into, is kind of a live Q&A opportunity. So this is going to be, I think, a great opportunity moving forward for the industry to have questions answered live in the future, as well as get some answers on some kind of crowdsourced questions. So anyway, with no further ado, I'd just like to introduce our guest today, Mr. JP Sanieski. JP, if you'd like to tell the group about yourself, as we have a few people jumping online, I see.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited for this new opportunity that SIMA is presenting for the industry. I think it's going to be a great jump off for people to just listen to other professionals in the industry and talk about snow year round, hopefully, and make people aware of different things throughout the country with different members that you bring on here. And I think it'll be a good start and a good short but informative session, not to be too dragged on and too long and winded. I think these short hit moments will be good for people to join quickly and kind of hear what's going on and just listen and maybe take some feedback on certain questions that we go over.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if folks listening today on YouTube and on Facebook would like to see this and on other forums like LinkedIn or Instagram Live, things like that, let us know. Let us know so that we can continue to improve, this setting for folks. But we've got about 10 to 15 minutes that we want to share with everybody in this short form dialogue. So with no further ado, let's kind of get into some questions, JP.
Okay.
So JP and I talked a little bit about some of these questions, and we figured these would hit at a high level for those interested in performing better operations in the industry. So, JP, from your 500,000 feet up view at East End, what are some of the biggest trends you're seeing in the snow industry, and how are they impacting your day-to-day operations and preparation for the snow season?
Well, I think trends overall are genuinely always evolving as each winter comes and goes and passes. A lot of trends, in the past was, we just want our snow plowed and we want it cleared and we're good with getting it done. But now with a lot of the industry standards of, documentation, being environmentally sound, timeliness, picture qualification of services, a lot of industry standards are moving towards, documentation of your services and making sure that they're done in a timely manner and done appropriately. The industry is evolving both from a commercial standpoint of removing the snow and plowing the snow and salting, but then I believe our customers are starting to evolve and get more information out there and understand what's truly happening with snow removal. So a lot of it comes with communication is definitely been increasing over the years with both your customers, your internal staff, and making sure you're properly doing what you say you're going to do in your contracts, making sure that everything's done in a timely manner. And then, excuse me, a lot of other scenarios with, making sure you use the right product or you're using environmentally product. So the standards of the community and the customers are evolving as we continue with the snow throughout the year to year.
Absolutely, and you mentioned that team atmosphere, and I think that's a big thing. And one of the things that can bring a team together or tear a team apart is technologies in the industry. Some people like the technology, some people don't, but it's something that we can't avoid, if you will. And so, how are you all looking at technology and innovations in the snow market, and what are they kind of doing for East End, and maybe what are some examples of ones that have been successful and adopted, well adopted by your team?
So like East End, or like myself, East End is very old school, I would say, when it comes to snow removal. A lot of the new tech out there is very nice, but realistically, it also comes down to how you perform the job and how you get the work done. The new tech, I think, is definitely impacting our company more when it comes to documentation, communication, um, you know, relaying that information to our customers of what services were done. Obviously, you have great innovations with, new pushers, new plows, new salters, how much salt you're putting down, brine, smaller equipment for your sidewalks, and how, it's becoming easier to clear sidewalks with smaller pieces of equipment. And even the robotics part of it, is not really impacting our company so much right now, but it's stuff we look at on a daily basis or a yearly basis of, what can we improve on? What types of equipment can you use to clear your sidewalks? If you've got a larger commercial property and you've got, miles of sidewalk, used to be shovels. Well, now you've got, your SSVs, and you've got small track loaders, and you've got, bigger snow blowers and different things like that. But then, um, the technology wise, I mean, it's always evolving. I think, just being at the SIMA show, you can see how every industry is always tweaking something, adding this to a plow, or making it a little
Right.
more easy to go wider or smaller, or, down pressure, or trip hedges on your pushers, or, smaller sidewalk equipment with, your SSVs with brooms and blowers and plows that you can, get through a 36-inch door or gate on properties. So the technology is definitely always evolving. And I think over the last 5 years, you've seen a huge jump in technology when it comes to snow removal. Again, it used to be, a pusher and a plow, or it used to be just a straight blade, and now you've got your V blades, and now you've got your different types of pushers that can, expand out in length and come back shorter, or have individual trip edges, so that, if you go over a manhole cover, just that area is going to move and the rest of it's still going to stay on the ground. um, the technologies with technology, and it's in general, with new tech, with, your weather services, your reporting services, your, you know apps that can capture different data, your data that you can get from, weather monitoring systems with cameras, and, temperatures, and even, as they try to grow that industry with, measuring snow depths and when you should go out. The industry is definitely growing uh, fast when it comes to, what new technologies are out there. I mean, with us, we focus on service and really trying to implement the technologies where we feel it'll benefit us as a company. And I think it's evolving, and definitely something the industry is embracing as we get more and more into the technology with the different types of equipment that's out there.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's going to continue to evolve and evolve probably rapidly. So it's an exciting time, but almost somewhat of a frightening time. And I think that's why our ops group that JP and I are part of is we're always talking about selecting the right service partner, asking the right questions, and really getting engaged with those service partners, because things are moving rapidly. Speaking of rapidly, a buzzword, if you will, in the industry, but one that's important depending on what municipality you're working closely with, or what area you're serving, is sustainability. Sustainability in the snow operations world is definitely becoming more and more of a need for customers. So. JP, what is snow operations' role in the sustainability movement, and what are you seeing the industry do to adapt to some of these customer and local needs?
You always have different needs by your customers, and that's, I think, what kind of gets us clients. So we are very customer facing, and we're very customer oriented when it comes to all of our contracts. Obviously, every customer is different, and every customer has different expectations and different needs, but in the end, they want their snow moved and they want it done appropriately. Some don't understand the industry as much, and some understand, what they want, and sometimes it's unrealistic goals. So, really trying to communicate to our customers, understand what they want. Um, you know, I think a lot of customers put this, you hear this around the area a lot, is, no tolerance. Well, it's so hard in the snow industry to have a no tolerance type of site when it comes to winter weather precipitation. You've got to kind of use that and educate, how services happen, what can be done, how you can mitigate as many slip and falls or as many ice ups or as many um, scenarios that could come with snow and ice over the winter season, and communicating that well to your customer, and then just trying to alleviate their stress through the winter with proper service, proper ice control, using environmentally friendly ice control or products, on those properties that are trying to be more environmentally conscious of what they're using on their sites. Local needs, vary from region to region. You've got a lot of areas that, oh, I can wait for, 2, 3, 4 inches to pile up on my property because we're not that busy. Or you've got other areas that, they want you over there under every 2 inches to make sure that, there's no accumulation for those properties. So, depending on, what you have, how you have your contracts written, and what your customers' needs, are always evolving, and especially I find, when you get on new customers, when you're onboarding with a new customer, you have it all in black and white. Well, black and white's not the in between thought process of a lot of people as well, or a lot of customers. So, they're saying, you want your snow removed by 7 a.m. Well, most of us know, well, if we get on a site by 5 a.m., we can remove it. Well, they still want it removed throughout the time, but don't explain it, or don't, really understand what's happening. So the needs of your customers or the local areas vary by customer to customer, region by region. And, you just have to really communicate and evolve with your customers as you try to give them the service they want.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think so. I was actually shooting a podcast for August yesterday, and it's really about customer education as well. Hey, here's what's possible, and given some of these needs that you have, it's not that it's not possible, but here's also the price and why it's that price. I think is probably what you were getting at as well. But just want to, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, I mean, price is always a driver in this industry, unfortunately. And
Hmm.
wish it wasn't the forefront of most contracts. I mean, it usually comes to price before it comes to service. So you really just have to understand, what you're giving for service and if that works for your company.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, looking ahead, JP, what do you see as the most significant opportunity or challenge for the snow industry in, let's say, the next 5 years? What are you gearing up for in the next 5 years?
In our area, over the last few years, we've decreased in the amount of snow, but increased in the amount of precipitation
Hmm.
throughout the winter. So our opportunities right now, I believe, are our contract language and how we write our contracts in regards to snow removal, and establishing a way to make sure that, on these bigger sites that you used to push, 10, 15, 20 times a season, your equipment's covered. You've got, an understanding of, you know, de-icings could be triple what you had previously the last 5 years. So I believe the best opportunity right now is just really working and still communicating with our customers and educating on contract servicing and what to expect, and making sure that they understand that it's evolving as well as everything else in our world. You know, it's not just snow and removal now. It's, you got rain, you've got sleet, you've got all these other aspects that are impacting our environment, I believe, more now than they were 5, 10 years ago. I still think back to when I was a kid, and when they said it was a snow day, you had snow. Now
Hmm.
it's, a snow day doesn't mean you're really going to see snow. And I feel bad
Right.
for the kids growing up in this day and age, but I used to know, it's just really working with our customers and understanding the contracts and working to evolve our contract language to evolve with the weather patterns that we're getting throughout our region is our biggest opportunity right now.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's all about versatility in this market and in future markets, I think. So regardless of what's on the peak, if you will, or what's on the horizon, East End, that's where you guys are smart. You're looking ahead 5, 6 years to say, okay, what can we do to be nimble and versatile? So, final question here. I listened to another podcast where at the end of every episode, the guest is asked to pose a question for our next guest without even knowing who it is. So, I do know who it is. We've got someone lined up for next month in August, but I'm not going to tell you. I haven't shared that with you. What question would you pose to a fellow snow ops professional or fellow professional in the snow industry that you would like? That would help you achieve in your role, if that answered.
Yeah, no, I thought this was a great question when you shared it with me the other day to kind of prepare for today. It was probably one of the hardest to really think about and come up with a good question. But in my struggles to come up with a good question, I think the one I came up with is, what's your biggest struggle
Yeah.
in snow, in your snow industry, wherever you are? Is it, your customers? Is it your employees? Is it your technology? Is it equipment? What's the biggest struggle that doesn't allow or impacts service or whatnot throughout their company? I think is what I'd like to hear.
Well, I appreciate you answering that bonus question. I'll have it teed up as one of our first questions for our next guest. So we're going to try to do these snow ops lives every month. So our next guest is actually going to be joining us, as I mentioned, in August, and we're excited about that opportunity. Just double checking the date here. I believe that we have. Yes, 12:15 on August 16th. We're going to plan for the 16th as often as we can. Today's July 16th. We're going to join with our next guest on August 16th, which is a Friday, around the same time, 12:15. So I hope this lunch and learn opportunity has been good to you. Thank you for joining us for the last 15, 20 minutes that we spent together. JP, any final words for those still listening?
No, I think snow's fun. I mean, I think if we're not in this industry, then we don't enjoy it. So, when Mother Nature brings snow, rain, sleet, whatever, I think that's when the majority of the snow ops people and everyone in the industry enjoy what's happening, and it's a small world, but everyone has fun with it. So hopefully you continue to have fun with snow and have a great winter.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's a good reminder and a good way to send us off. So thanks again, JP, for being our first ever guest of Snow Ops Live. If you like today's episode, I'd appreciate if you share this with a friend here on Facebook or on YouTube. I know we've had up to 10, 11 viewers at any given time. So appreciate the folks that have jumped on. We hope to continue to grow this and be 30, 40, 50. JP will be back as he's one of those people that kind of helped spearhead this idea. So I appreciate him being with us today, and you may see him later this year in the midst of the snow season. So thank you again, everyone, and have a great rest of the week.
Thank you.